Hello, Buffalo, New York. You're listening to WMAK. It is October 10th, 1928, and there's a lot of stuff going on. But first, a jazz intermission.
Jazz Revisited.
Radio was a big part of the 1920s and 30s. The first radio station was KDKA in Pittsburgh. As time went on, more and more radio stations were created throughout the U.S. Families tuned in every day to listen to jazz, sports, and live events. Radio also became part of the mass market. Louis Armstrong was the king of jazz. He first started out playing on the streets to make money for his family. After that, he was asked to go to Chicago and join a famous band. He then created his own band, the Hot Five, and made their own recording. In 1929, he moved to New York and performed on Broadway and starred in movies. People from around the world knew the king of jazz and loved him. Bessie Smith was known as the Empress of the Blues. She was one of the most successful singers of the 1920s. She made her first recording in New York in 1923. She was the highest paid African-American entertainer in the U.S. As times changed, she went from being a blues singer to a jazz singer to stay popular. She still remained popular, but will always be remembered for the blues. George Gershwin composed music we still love today. His serious compositions were popular for concerts, and his stage and film songs were jazz. He wrote many musicals for other singers during the 1920s. His music is known around the world. The song you're listening to right now is called I Got Rhythm, and it is composed by George himself. Improvisation is a main part of jazz. Depending on the performer's mood and experience, a jazz musician or performer will alter melodies, harmonies, and even time signatures whenever they please. Both blacks and whites played jazz. The jazz played by the whites was known as sweet jazz, while the jazz played by the blacks was known as hot jazz. Almost everybody in the U.S. enjoyed jazz, no matter who was playing. During the 1920s, Broadway took its cues from World War I, the Prohibition, and the world around it. World War I had an influence on Broadway. It went from being an active part of the world around instead of just an entertaining distraction from it. Many theaters also held charities for the soldiers, and the plays often commented on current events. Also, African Americans were brought to the stage.